So I've just been in Glasgow teaching and sharing on chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, and I had an absolutely wonderful time. And I know that I can't really see much, but there's this magnificent sunset. I just came back to Yorkshire, to my father's house, and the sky it's been an absolutely gorgeous sunny day, and the sky is just this absolutely magnificent sight. And during the weekend, in the last of our sessions on the Gita, there came up the question of Krishna who's the teacher in the Gita, being considered as God. And some people were saying that just the idea of a human somehow being God, or this person who's a miracle worker, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty with this idea of God that sometimes comes through in the yoga tradition. And as I was looking at the magnificent sunset, I just thought it would be an opportune moment to talk about the yogic vision of what God is. Because in the Indian system, there's a very, very beautiful thing, is that many of the names for God are very explicitly stating that God is that which includes everything. There's nowhere God is not. God is the container in which everything exists. So we could also call it, we might call it the force of nature, or the conscious essence, or the source of life, or the web of life. But God is a name for something that is beyond a name, something that is beyond form, and that's a wonderful, beautiful thing. In the Indian system, there are many, 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 many names and forms that represent that which is beyond representation. Because the Indian system recognizes God, or the ultimate, it's beyond name and form. It's beyond anything that the mind can grasp when it works alone. And so the idea in yoga, we can only experience that feel of utmost pleasure. We can only recognize and relish the wholeness of our true home when we use all the powers that are resident within us. Not the mind and the senses in isolation, but all our sense powers, all our action powers, all our emotional, bodily, mental powers of awareness. When we gather them all together and let them work as a unit, what Krishna might call samatva, evenness, or when we bring all the parts into cohesion so we can be buddhiyukta, all those parts function together so we can be as clear and discerning as possible, then we can experience that for which there are no names, but for which God is one of the names that we use. But in the Indian tradition, they also use the sun without which there is no life at all. And the sun, that is one of my favourite representations of that which is beyond representation.